Viktor Taransky has discovered the perfect actress.
Who is Simone? We know so little about her.
You can't hide her forever. Simone appears only when I want her to appear.
She's beautiful. She's talented.
Why are we here?
She's virtually perfect.
A star is digitized.
Are you ever going to tell the truth about me?
I'm going to tell the truth about you after your next picture.
I've never really seen Simone up close. Have you?
I will be checking in a very special guest. She must not be disturbed at any time for any reason whatsoever.
Is that you, Simone?
I'm right here, beside you.
I borrowed Victor's car. My God.
What do? Do you keep her locked in a box somewhere?
I love you! LA!
What happened when we dusted that whole hotel suite? What about the fingerprints?
Nothing.
This summer
You're going to get in a lot of trouble, Mr. Taransky.
Why do you have to bring that up?
comes a story about the illusion of reality.
The winner of Best Actress, Simone!
I want to thank my co-stars and the studio, of course. Thank you.
Why didn't she thank you?
Did she?
No.
And the lies that have a life of their own.
What's the matter, Victor? You look so sad.
Gonna be a little change in plans, Simone. See if they still love you after this. I swear, I made Simone.
Victor, she made you.
I'll destroy you.
From the creator of The Truman Show
Don't you love me anymore?
She's indestructible.
Al Pacino, Simone.
Never stop believing!
What is up, guys? Welcome back to Late to the Party. I'm your host this week. And boy, did we have a doozy. We had the pleasure of watching 2002's S1MONE, or Simone, if you want to get technical about it. Released, like I said, in August 2002, directed by Andrew Nicole. It stars Al Pacino and a bunch of other really cool cats, and Winona Ryder and yada yada yada. Movie was made on a 10 milli budget, and it got back 19.6 milli at the box office. Didn't make too much, but doubled its budget. Critically panned from then until today. Letterboxd had it at 2.6 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 51%. IMDb has it like a 6.1 out of 10. And unfortunately, no Walmart.com. I couldn't find a Walmart.com rating, but I'm sure those people would have rated it a 5. Go figure. Little background as to why I picked this movie. I recall back during Rogue One, and maybe even before then, the use of computer technology to bring back, what is the gentleman's name? Help me out, please.
Grand Moff Tarkin, who was
Peter Cushing.
Yes. Amazing. It made the movie seem very authentic, genuine. I was blown away when I found out that information, but also scared a little because, as you know, in a comic nerd, with great power, great technology comes a lot of great responsibility. And I haven't watched it yet, but I'm told that Mandalorian does something similar, correct? With sort of facial and digital stuff. So I kind of wanted us to see a movie that presented a great argument while at the same time was, a little bit entertaining, but really made you think. Since we're missing our delay, I wanted to be the meta perv this week. That's what we did. Now, is this all your guys' first time watching it?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So we'll start with Nate. First impressions, biggest takeaway from this.
The first impressions, I thought he was going to have a little bit more interactions with Casey Jones, but it was just the stark raving introduction. Yeah. The one-eyed inventor was the guy who played Casey Jones in Ninja Turtles.
That's right.
So I thought Scarface was gonna hang out with Casey Jones a little bit more, but they had a limited interaction. I thought his neuroses were pretty evident in it. He just wanted to be loved, and then ultimately Simone was him. So it was kind of sad that the way it all went down and the way everybody kind of shit on him for Simone when it came to it. And I can't help but think that, and I talked about this with the Scots a little bit before you jumped on, that I think that the movie, at least from what I could tell, it looked like it was heading in one direction, and the probably got an audience viewing that kicked it into another direction to make it be more happy, because I think it was going in a completely different direction. I think he was going to go off the cliffs, and he was going to go away, and I think they probably put rewrites at the end to stop it well when it put some smiles into it. What you're saying about the CGI thing, and Fast and the Furious and Star Wars and different things that they've been using lately, it makes me worry about having them have video of you in dubious places when you weren't there. That's the biggest red flag to me. If they can put deep fakes on your face and stick you on the grassy knoll 20 years before you were born, that's that's some rough stuff. So I think the movie was okay. I thought that the people were too shallow. I think that I would have loved for Lego to be able to have seen this and hear his deeper thoughts into it. And I think I had deeper thoughts, but we kind of got it's the movie's a little bit stale for me now in my head. So, but I think that the end seemed like it had a rewrite in it, and there's some metaphor in there that I hope somebody touches on. I just can't quite wrap my head around right now.
Oh yeah, there's a huge metaphor there. I think it stems from Victor's one of my favorite quotes is what was it? Our ability to create fraud has overtaken or gone beyond our ability to detect it. And I was like, whew, that's a bar. That was
well, it's not quite there yet. I mean, some of the stuff I've seen, it's still like what they've done with Skywalker, and even with Peter Cushing in that Star Wars movie that you mentioned. It still has got my spider senses tingling because they haven't quite got the Fibonacci sequence dialed in yet for these deepfakes. So there is, if you want to see some better deepfakes, go into Google and check out them putting Millie Bobby Brown on top of Carrie Fisher and as Princess Leia, and then they also do Sebastian Stan on top of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, and it's freaking ridiculous. Like, I challenge anybody. The job they did on those deepfakes were much better than the stuff I've seen that's got published in movies. I recommend anybody check it out.
So, no particular order, but what did you guys think? And biggest takeaway? You guys feel like there's a metaphor there? Just call it out.
I didn't know what to think of this movie at first. When you see just the movie poster, like the still that they show right before you're gonna push play type situation, I was like, what the hell is this? Okay, whatever. And then I was like, oh, Al Pacino? Okay, whatever. Because I'm not a Pacino fan like everybody else. I think I've seen him in Godfather and
No. Scarface.
I haven't seen Scarface.
Well, was he in Godfather?
Yeah.
Godfather 2.
Yeah, he's the character.
I thought that
he's Michael Corleone, dude. He is the
So, I mean,
oh, that's right.
I've
when he's
seen
young.
that and Heat and stuff like that, and I'm just kind of whatevs. You know, what's the big deal with this guy? I think that he missed his calling. He should have been a comedic actor. Because I found his, even though it's like a serious kind of movie, you know, talking about the fact that what's real, what's not, how can you make the whole world essentially fall in love with this fake person? Is it really the personality? Is it the creator? Or you know what I mean? Like how much of the creator is in the creation and all that, you know, there's all those little inner like weaving type situations. So yeah, I wasn't sure when I saw that, I was like, what the hell is it? And the more I started watching it and digging it and just, it's a good movie. I was pleasantly surprised and very happy to have seen this. I like, and I couldn't remember that it was Winona Ryder at the very beginning too. It took me a second to realize that was her, because I only remember her recently from Stranger Things. And she looks like this scraggly old person and stuff. That's like old school Winona Ryder, and it was kind of cool too.
Winona
like,
Ryder was quite the looker,
man. Huh?
Winona was quite the looker in her day, I swear.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, you know, for her character in Stranger Things, they kind of had to like grunge her up a little bit because of what, you know, the time and all that. But like, yeah, she's a fantastic actress. All of them in this. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, and when I was watching it, it was great. It was fantastic. It's a great story. Now I want to go back and watch a couple of Al Pacino movies, but I don't know if it's gonna be the same, because like I said, I think he's a comedic genius actually as an actor. He missed his calling. He should have done comedy instead of drama.
He does the devil in a movie with Keanu Reeves and Charlize
Yeah,
Theron.
I saw that too, and I'm just like, meh. But this,
what do they say when they're like
perfect.
when they're really committed as a character actor, or what do they call it?
Method
actors. Yeah, rumor has he said, which is I find it kind of ironic that he's so pissed off in the movie at the diva when I've heard stories of how he behaves on set sometimes. Like there's a funny one where they say that
life imitating art, you know. And at the very end too, like when you think she's dead, she's indestructible. Like it's just like, oh my god, it's so good. Yeah.
I enjoy how it starts off him trying to convince the world that she exists, and then it's kind of like Nate said, it turns really quickly halfway. But I think it also has a metaphorical turn where now he has to prove that she never was alive to begin with, but he's already spent all this time convincing the world that she did exist. And it doesn't end the way you think it is.
Yeah,
and
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
The ending on that one too, I was just like, oh, what? You know, as soon as the daughter finds out, because, you know, they laid the groundwork with her being a little bit of a hacker kind of thing. And so you knew that was going to play out somehow at the end. And yeah, the way I would have thought
if he fries, this movie's a 9. They fucking put they Disneyed it out. It dropped to a 5. You needed to fucking fry. I needed that. Honestly, that's my take on it. If he goes down, if they save him and he gets back with them, fucking spoiler. He gets back with his wife, who seems to kind of be like only interested in him because he's got Simone. Like, oh, Simone's the hot shit. She's interested in you. I want you again. And he's like cool with that. It's like, oh man.
I'm glad you caught that.
Those are typical women tropes. Don't even like, you know, not even I'll admit, like, sometimes they just want that's just a woman. They just want something because somebody else has it. They got that part right.
It was like mid-grade, and then the part at the funeral for Simone, and then when they find out it's a cardboard cutout, and the guy says, "Oh, I wonder if so like that." Was,
right.
That leveled it up right there.
Yeah. That's Jane,
Josh, please.
That's Jay Moore for you. So I went into this movie a little anxious because your run of movies up to this point has been pretty shit. So I went into this.
I said I wouldn't waste them anymore.
That's true, because he's like, damn it, we have to spend $3.99 for this thing. Ugh.
And I'm
Jose?
like, here comes Batman Forever Part 2. But it actually surprised me, like real quick in the film. I was pretty hooked, and I enjoyed the movie pretty much the whole way through. I found that the storyline interesting, and maybe we could talk more about the whole concept of deep fakes and how that's turned out today. But the irony of it is that we watched it right at the time that these Oscars happened, whatever that was. But the tie-in between the two was the utter shallowness of Hollywood in encountering this fake actress and performer, and that they're all swept up into her. They all find her fantastic. They love the fact that she's like vegan, or that she keeps to herself, and that he puts her in that like really crap movie Pig. Remember when she's like wallowing in the muck with the pigs and eating out of the trough and everything like that, and they're just, it's wonderful, and they're crying when they watch it. It's just like, these effing people, man, like the lowest of the low. So anyway, I thought all of it was great. There was like one part in the film where I was like, I didn't catch like how they resolved it, and so it didn't make any sense to me. Is there somebody walking on the ceiling?
God, I hope so.
Lionel Richie?
That's crazy. So the part in the film that was like, and maybe you guys caught it, but like when he dumps all of the tech with Simone on it into the ocean in that box, but when they fish it up, it's gone. What happened to it?
The way it got washed away.
It got washed away out of a locked box?
No, because remember they looked in the trunk, wasn't like locked. It was just closed. It wasn't like locked.
It was just they wanted that to happen. It was it was written in there conveniently. It was like a broken MacGuffin.
Oh, so there's Nate with the negative view. Yeah, that part didn't make any sense to me, but otherwise it was a great film, and I was laughing many times throughout just at the insanity of the whole thing. And Al Pacino did a pretty good job. I'm actually not that much of a fan of him myself either, but he was great in this movie. So.
I'm a lot more of a fan of his than De Niro, for sure.
I enjoyed all the scenes where they're actually describing or talking about Simone. Like initially when they first see her, he's like, what did you guys think? And he thinks that the two guys are talking about like, it's like, it looks so fake, unreal. But they're actually talking about, it's fully 19th century, whatever country. And they said, yeah, nah. And he thinks they're talking about Simone, but then when the people come up, the words, the adjectives they use to describe her, it's like, she's unreal. She's out of this world. I can't believe it. Like, just things like that. He just had me cracking up. So it was really on the nose, but it worked.
Yeah, well, when Jay Moore says, oh, yeah, I ran into her in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, like all of those like scenes where like people would talk about that stuff. Oh, I see her all the time because she's the da 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 da. And like he's like, oh really? let me call her right now. And he's like.
And then when those guys are listening in on the phone call, they assume that it's like some encryption tech instead of the fact that he's not talking to anybody. What the?
Yeah.
He photoshops her behind them in the pictures.
Yeah,
she was there.
Yeah.
He was right behind me.
The riot that happened.
She's at when she's at the Grammy party or Oscars party, whatever it is, and they're all rushing. It's like Simone, and she turns around. Simone's here, and they all tap her into
like puts her into the water. So good.
It's just it was great, man. I just thought it was. I don't know. Speaking of his comedy, when he decides to do the phone call in the car next to her, it's the mannequin. He's trying to drive it and talk at the same time. It's just like, what? It's like, great. Oh man, no, it was great. I don't know, man. I feel like as comical as this movie was, I think it does kind of show a little bit of the danger behind it. But what were your biggest takeaways from this, Nate? Like, or what was this something that stood out to you? It could be a favorite scene or quote or.
The metaphors, the Hollywood metaphors. I was kind of bummed. I really wanted more of us to be able to do this when I wanted to be able to do it last week. In fact, I didn't decide to cancel till Isaac did, and I figured that since I had a massive bruise across my nose and I was kind of busted up, I was like, you know what, let's just push it back a week. But I agree with Josh that the parallels that could have been drawn between the people, the representation of Hollywood in this movie and the shit that we were privy to that happened last weekend, and even further this week, like there's a big dividing line now between, it seemed like 11 days ago, the comedians and the actors in Hollywood, they were on one side, and it seems to have, that whole situation seems to have divided them. So there's some interesting things happening out there in pop culture as far as Hollywood and comedy, and I'm looking forward to waxing poetic a little bit on that when we move into the live stream. But all in all, I think it was a decent movie. I did feel like it took a bit of an about face, like I was saying earlier, maybe 85 to 90% through the movie, and I think I like to stand by what I said earlier, that had it gone all the way with the blackness, I would have gave it like a 9, but they try to put smiles and a bow on it and hook mom and daughter and everybody all together again with Simone going off into the sunset with the white picket fence. That shit knocks down to a 5 for me, dude. I'm sorry to say. You know what? I'll put a 6.
Okay. It's a 6. All right. Josh. Just away favorite scenes and then final thoughts, buckets.
I like the whole setup of him just deciding to like get rid of her. Like, this monster's gotten way out of hand. I can't do anything. So the best thing I can do is just kill her off. And you see him delete her, and then as soon as you see all of this stuff going into the trunk, and then the trunk going onto the boat, you're like, you know that it's getting set up for him to get caught. Like, you know, and then it starts to fall. There's more people on the roof. Anyway, it starts to fall into the classic Hollywood tropes. Even then, even in a film, it's like, oh, well, you can see the setups, and then you can see that this happening because this happened, and you know what I mean? It all just starts to fall together like a typical regular run-of-the-mill formulaic kind of movie of old, because he was trying to bring back like the old-time type movies, you know what I mean? And it followed a formula. Every single movie at the time followed a formula. You know, boy meets girl doesn't want to be with the boy, but then she gets, you know what I mean? And it follows these and that's what this did too. It actually followed the whole formula of old-time movies, on top of it being him going back to old time. You know, it just, there's too many crossovers. But as soon as I started seeing like the dominoes start falling really fast at the end of the movie, and from that point on, I really was like, okay, this is gonna happen next. Okay, but even though I knew it was happening, it still was very cool and very fresh, and I liked it, and I enjoyed seeing it unfold, because it's like, you knew he was gonna get arrested. You knew they were gonna find out that the cop, you know, you knew these types of things were gonna happen. But it still was really great watching it all unfold. It's like watching a movie you've already seen, knowing it's gonna happen, but still enjoying that it's happening. That's how it was for me, even though this was the first time I saw it, but like, it was so familiar, it was still really great, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I think my favorite scene, you know, just that whole, from the time that the camera catches him with the trunk, dragging the trunk onto the boat, all the way to the end where he's like, he just decides to confess, fine, I did it. I killed her. I'm the one that's responsible. And then he turns on the TV and he's just like, oh my God, she's indestructible. Like, in his mind, even at that point, he's like, well, wait, is she really dead? Was she really a real person? Is it, you know what I mean? He can just see all of that trigger in his head. And he know, like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on here? Yeah, so it was even up to the point where he gets into the car with his wife and his daughter. He's still like on edge and not quite sure what's real and what's not anymore and what to expect. And it was great. And it's a 9 bucket movie for me, for sure. It's not the perfect movie.
Dang.
But it's well acted, well written, directed. As far as movie influences forward, I don't know so much as it's movie-wise influences other movies, but it's definitely that whole art imitates life, imitates art that we're seeing now. Like, we're seeing this fake stuff. What's fake? What's real? What's, what news? That kind of stuff. So it's appropriate to watch it in this day and age. I don't know, they were very forward thinking back in 2002 as to what was going to happen, 20 years later.
Yeah.
So.
As far as influence goes, it did influence the Disney movie Pixel Perfect, where a young man creates a fake girlfriend in the same style. Totally kidding. I don't think it influenced it, but it's
it's good to say. Gotta give it a little credit.
Yeah.
Name drop.
Josh, please. I'm very curious your takeaway from this and your kids. Anything that stood out to you?
Yeah, I think the takeaway from this film, and I kind of wish I would have seen it when it came out, because it's the ramifications, for what you understand why he's doing what he does with Simone in the movie, because he's having a tough time with, working with actors and actresses and working with studios and all of the issues that surround production as a director and everything like that. And he's looking to eliminate all of the roadblocks that come up with dealing with other people. And so he comes up with this fake personality that will go out there and basically do whatever he wants. And strangely, everybody wants to work with her. So a lot of his production woes are behind him once he puts her in that first film. And I remember when I saw, and I'm pretty sure it came out before this, the Schwarzenegger film, Last Action Hero. Because that movie had Schwarzenegger and some of the other stars interacting with Humphrey Bogart, who had already been dead for a long time by the time that film came out. And I remember thinking to myself back then when I was really young and really stupid, like, this is going to really change the way that we think about and do movies in the future, because you're going to basically be able to get anybody in your movies that you want.
I'm still waiting for Bruce Lee to come back in an action movie. I swear to God.
Don't worry. The days of having to recast him like Tarantino did are probably numbered. But there's all these.
I've never seen that movie.
Huh?
I never saw that movie.
Oh, I didn't see it either, but I heard.
Because of the way they portrayed him, I haven't seen a Tarantino movie since that.
So, going back to Simone, I think that it raises all kinds of questions about the future of Hollywood with that kind of technology, especially now that we're seeing it proliferate. I want to go outside and find out who that is. Especially since we're seeing it proliferate so much. I mean, it's to the point now where you can get an app on your damn phone and do it yourself. I mean, I do it. So it just raises interesting questions for the future. And I'm not, maybe the filmmakers were thinking about that at the time, that it was a funny idea and they decided to make a comedy film out of it. They did real well with it. I thought it was a great film. I think in most respects, it's really done well. The special effects obviously could be a lot better if it were done today. And I don't think it necessarily had any forward influence, at least not intentionally. So I'm going to give this movie a solid 7.
It's good. Yeah. this is obviously satire. I think as far as satires go, this was really well done. They definitely understood the message that they were trying to get across. But kind of like what you guys said, there really wasn't too much forward influence. It was panned like crazy. It was like it almost seemed like either hated it or loved it, and that's why you ended up getting 51 out of or 6 out of 10s. But I think with the times that we find ourselves now, I can definitely see this thing starting to kind of be watched more. I noticed that more people have been actually reviewing this movie lately, which was a little surprising. I went back and I started noticing like some of the new age reviewers have been in the last 3-4 months. I was like, oh snap! So it's definitely kind of picking up steam, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're kind of early to the party on this one, and people are starting back to watch because. I think this is going to be one of those that people are going to go back and realize, like, hey, they were onto something here.
I was going to say, just as a quick aside, I noticed that the film that we reviewed a little while ago, Tango and Cash, recently got its own review by The Critical Drinker. So I'm wondering if some of the stuff that we're doing is getting out there in the ether, and people are like, yeah, I want to go back and watch that movie and check it out.
Do you see The Critical Drinker just did Event Horizon too?
Oh, no, I didn't see that. But anyway, it's just, I think I wanted to mention also, Nate would have liked a darker ending, but I'm an ugly American. I like a happy ending where the good guys come out on top. So that part didn't bother me so much.
Yeah, well, for all those things and more, I'm going to give this one a solid 8. Again, everything story-wise, everything great. I think it was ahead of its time, but I think the forward influences, I don't think they're going to come. They didn't come immediately after or as a result of this movie. I think it's going to come from people going back and watching it and appreciating it now for what they were trying to say back then. I respect Pacino for doing this one, because I think even he kind of noticed it, like there's something to the script, because at 2002 wasn't he still a powerhouse? Like, never really lost his edge. He's always kind of been on top, getting those big paychecks and doing big projects. So this might have been like the more indie style, because 19 million is not a lot. So this might have been like his little indie.
That was like 17 million for him.
Yeah. It was a $10 million budget. 9 million went to him. So that's those reasons I give it an 8. I really hope that people do come back and watch it and appreciate it for what it is. And if we ever get a remake, I mean, it'd be difficult. I mean, it'd be weird. Maybe they'll do it after Al Pacino passes away and Simone his ass into the movie. Who knows?
Irony. That would be great.
Wow.
Right? So it's going to be an 8 out of 10 for me. I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, it get kind of woke at the end when the whole politics argument came in, but we'll see. I think it's left up for debate, but we'll I enjoyed it. I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed it, and I'm happy to hand off now the reins to who's next.
I think it's me, since Isaac and Lego weren't here, so we'll just.
They're not in. All right, I hand it over to Liz. Thank you guys. This was a fun one. Liz, it's all yours. What are we watching?
Well, I'm a little nostalgic. Surprise. So
something with a bombastic soundtrack.
Expressions when I see it, but I've been thinking a lot about my days as a Trekkie, and I don't know if I'm not gonna go super hardcore and go right into the Trek. I'll ease that one in later. We're gonna go with another fun homage of Trek, though.
Galaxy Quest?
Called Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So,
have you seen it, Jose?
Yeah.
No, I've been wanting to.
So,
it's good.
Yeah, you're gonna get Sigourney Weaver and Alan Rickman probably in their best roles, aside from Ellen Ripley and what's his Nakatomi off the
Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber. but mix in a little bit of Tony Shalhoub and Tim Allen and Sam Rockwell. Like this cast it's packed. And only named actors at the time was Sigourney Weaver and Alan Rickman. Tim Allen was just a TV guy at this point. So this is going to be fun, and I really enjoy this one. Surprise. So we're going to do Galaxy Quest.
Home Improvement was on my watch list daily.
Yeah.
We didn't have cable.
He was a big TV guy.
So Channel 11 was constantly on.
Yeah, so we're going to do Star Wars adjacent to Galaxy Quest.
Woo!
It'll be fun.
All right. Awesome. I can't wait. I'm excited. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Go back, watch Simulation 1 or Simone. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know, was it ahead of its time? Was it right on the nose? Should there be a remake? Should Simone some people into Simone, make it real Simone? But glad you guys enjoyed it. Check it out. And next week, Galaxy Quest, baby.
Woohoo!
We're out.
Bye.
That's cool.